following is a production of Cary TV, the Town of Cary's government access channel.
Good evening and welcome to the January 16th, 2013 Planning and Development Committee meeting. Joining me, I'm Frantz. Joining me to my left is Mayor Pro Tem Gale Adcock. To my right is Councilman Ed Yerha, and to his right, Town Manager Ben Shiver. We have 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. Would anyone care to pull anything from consent?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing none, I'll just go ahead and read those items. Number 1 is revised NCDOT municipal agreement for the Western Wake Freeway. Number 2 is an interlocal agreement amendment for Colvin Park subdivision. 3 is designation of a historic landmark. And 4 is an amendment to a conservation easement. If anybody would like to learn more about those items, you can check the Planning and Development Committee's website, agenda on the town's website at townofcary.org. We have 1 item up for discussion, and that is to abandon the comprehensive annexation program, and we'll hear from Mr. Ricky Barker from our staff.
Good evening, Council. As you may be aware of, in 2006, the Council adopted a comprehensive annexation program, and the intention of that program was to guide annexation decisions, to provide an orderly and predictable extension of our town boundaries, and to identify qualifying areas and potential time periods for town-initiated annexation. In other words, the program also included a map that showed parcels that qualified for town-initiated annexation and set a time frame, short, medium, and long-term time frame for potential town-initiated annexation. As you also may be aware, in 2011, the General Assembly adopted significant changes to the annexation law. Several of those highlights to those changes include that a majority of the property owners in a town-initiated annexation area could vote to stop the town initiation process. They also changed the section dealing with utility costs, whereas all the properties, if the town went forward with town-initiated annexation, the town would be responsible for providing utilities to that building at no cost to the property owner. And so staff has evaluated these changes and feel like that because of these changes, this town-initiated annexation is probably not an effective way to expand our corporate limits. And so what we are recommending is that Town Council abandon the town-initiated annexation program. We would still use that authority on a case-by-case basis if something, seemed to make sense in the future. And then we would also continue to use our citizen-initiated annexation process, which most property in the town is annexed through that. But we'd also, just a side note, we'd probably recommend you change that citizen-initiated name to owner-initiated, because it's more in tune with what the owner is annexing. So we also would, if council chose to abandon this program, we would mail informational letters to all the property owners that had been included on that annexation program, telling them that the annexation program has been abandoned and the reasons why. We also recommend changing the policy statement 23, which is the utility system extension and connection policy. Within that policy, there are discounts for property owners that are annexed into the town or want to connect to water and sewer. We would recommend that discount be taken out of that policy. However, in order to provide incentive for people to potentially voluntarily annex into the town, we would delay that effective date for 6 months. So those people that we notify through this mailing, if they really wanted to come into the town and take advantage of lower utility costs to connect to utilities, then they could do so if they submit an annexation within that 6-month period. Another caveat to that would be that staff would recommend that once they come into the town, that they would have up to 1 year to petition for connection to those utilities to get that discounted rate. So it wouldn't be hanging out there forever, that they would have a discounted rate. So that would encourage them to move on, and once they're annexed, to take advantage of the lower discounted rate. Staff also is recommending some non-annexation related changes to policy statement 23, dealing with the development fees when existing customers are taking putting a new reclaimed or potable water meter for the purpose of converting their existing secondary usage for a new meter. So if somebody has a irrigation system off of their potable water and they take that offline and put, a secondary meter in for utilities, then you wouldn't charge them extra fee for that development fee. So that concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
I do.
Ms. Adcock?
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks, Ricky. Great job. I really just had some clarifying questions, and it may be that because you guys know this so well, this all makes perfect sense to you. But I was curious, if you look at page 3, the bottom of page 3 of attachment policy 23, in the new text in red, the general term utility connections outside of a jurisdiction's town limits, et cetera, rather than specifying Cary. Is that in some way supposed to reflect what the General Assembly has done, or why is it not specific to Cary, given that this is Cary's ordinance?
I think we also serve utilities in Morrisville, and I think that's referring to Morrisville. Glenn?
Well, it's still outside our jurisdiction. That was my question.
Glenn's here if he wants to talk about it, or Tim.
Again, when our policy was created, initially we only had Cary corporate limits, and things outside of Cary corporate limits paid a different fee. Things inside Morrisville corporate limits pay Cary rates. Things outside of Morrisville corporate limits would pay an outside rate. So it has to recognize that people inside Morrisville pay our in-town rate as well. So we eliminated the town of Cary in those references and just talked about being in the corporate limits.
Okay. That answers my question. That was great. I just have one more, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
Okay. So on page 5, if you'll join me there, I'm getting there. Okay, page 5, about halfway down, you start really with all the new additional information. It says all petitions. I don't have any question about what's actually in the red text. It all makes sense. But what I do have a question about is really what's in the current text. It says all petitions shall require language notifying the property owners of the following items. And what I don't understand is, since it's going to be from this point on a citizen-initiated petition, you're not really notifying the property owners because they started the petition. You're actually just making sure they understand that all of these 4 conditions exist. I'll talk about the second D in a minute. To me, it would make more sense if the stem said, notifying just seems like the wrong word. If it said something about all petitions shall require statements of, and then because every one of those A, B, C, D starts with a statement that, then they would not say statement again. Is there a reason it says shall notify? I mean, I realize they're notified, but that
Usually
seems
there is a person within the
counterintuitive.
neighborhood that is circulating a petition, so we want to make sure that information gets passed from the person in charge of the petition circulation to the other people signing. The language could be either way with us, it doesn't matter, because signing that, you should acknowledge you've seen and understand
Right.
that information, so it doesn't matter how we do that.
And this is really important now that these extra steps are in there. And so as you're looking at just, if I was a citizen and I read this, I'd want to understand it. So that's where I'm coming from. So as I read it, and it may be simply because sometimes using formatting software doesn't work very well, but you have 2 Ds there. And it seems to me that second D that starts all petitions shall be submitted is really a process thing, and it should be a separate paragraph. It's not another, it doesn't fall under that stem, all petitions shall require language, et cetera, or what I'd prefer is all petitions shall require statements of. It seems like it should be its own stem.
Yeah, we'd be happy to clean that up. Again, this stuff kind of gets modified over
I understand.
time.
And I don't mean to be the old
we'll
maid
look at
school
that.
teacher, but I do think it's important that it's readable to the average person, and they don't get more average than me. So thank you for that. And otherwise, I support what the staff has recommended, and I particularly like the part about what really is 18 months. 6 months to petition to be annexed, and then 1 year to actually connect seems like a reasonable and prudent thing for the town to do.
Question for clarification. If we do make this minor text amendment for Ms. Adcock's recommendation, could this still go on the council's consent agenda, or would that have to come to us for discussion?
We could go ahead and change it and just update the report.
Okay.
If y'all are okay with
Oh,
it.
yes. I think what you're recommending makes sense. I would just hate to have it come back to council.
I
for
agree
discussion.
100%.
Yes. I also support staff recommendation. I'm sure, as you guys know well, I've never been a fan of the comprehensive annexation program. So you actually clarified one question I had the year after the 6-month thing. So, and I do agree with removing the discount because we're not forcibly annexing folks anymore. So I don't know that we necessarily need to provide them a discount anymore either. So.
And also, we want to goose them to go ahead and, initiate
might be-
annexation on their side if
Yeah.
they're thinking about it.
And I actually do like the change owner initiated from citizen, because until they're annexed, they're not a Cary citizen, so that makes sense.
Good
So,
catch.
Mr. Yerha, anything?
Like Don, I have never been a fan of the town-initiated annexation program. Didn't like it from the word go, and I'm very pleased to be part of the recommendation to abandon it. And I think a lot of the little questions have been answered. That's good stuff. I'm a yes.
Good to go.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we'll sound this council on consent, and seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
11 minutes.
This has been a production of Cary TV. Visit the Town of Cary's website at townofcary.org.